So this pencil neck little white leftist caught me something which is very interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you. In fact, most of the people that have ever called me this term, it's always been on the internet, never in person or anything, but on the internet. And it's usually done by pencil neck white dudes that claim to fight so much against like anti-racism, or they are anti-racist and all of this sort of stuff. But to set the scene, this guy is, I guess, part of that clique of weirdos, one of which we had a live debate with. One is a little dude that won't actually debate me despite him constantly talking down on me. But to set the scene, I guess, he took a little issue with the fact that I was down talking the person that down talked me. And if you guys remember, this is the person who insisted that I had a problem with myself, essentially, because I am black, and obviously having an issue with black people because they're black, calling me, making false claims about my positions, flat out lying about my positions. We have pointed those out, likening people to, let's say, some very evil people throughout human history as well. And when people get to doing stuff like that, you don't get to throw your hands, right? Punches, and then try to hide them behind your backs. That's not how any of this worked. So he is apparently, we'll get to this, just go ahead and get into it. I don't know why he's claiming here that I talked about someone's kids, which isn't what happened. I actually talked about his relationship with his kids, because the idiot is he's divorced and does not have full custody of his children. And it's not a low blow at all. When you go there and you start, taking the jabs that you take, nothing's off limits there. And we get to go there. And yes, the loser was down talked, and I certainly do it again. But I didn't initiate this conflict. Make no mistake. But this is what this pistol neck, scrawny little white dude had to say, and he did say it on the stream. I'm not going to show that video, but he doubles down on it, and let's see what he said. For the record, I called Eric July and Uncle Tom only after he went off talking about a close friend's children. And again, not the case. I actually talked about your children being taken care of by another man, not his children, but I guess his friends being taken care of by another man. I wasn't talking down on anybody's children. I was talking down on that idiot. And he says, I do not regret my reaction. When you work for the Blaze and argue, this is the part. He says, argue against your community's best interests, that is rather Uncle Tomish. And he goes on talking about Candace Owen, even though her and I are very different in terms of what our positions are. And yeah, that's weird. But let's just talk about the term right there that he used. Now, this is a literal racist term. Now, I want to be clear. And these weirdos think that this is some sort of gotcha when it's not. The reason why people are bringing this up is because you're a hypocrite. And the types that generally use these terms that claim to go to bat for, let's say, black people, or go to bat for the POCs, or whatever term that you want to use, we're pointing out how you and yourself are racist and you're using racist terminology. I'm not going to get bent out of shape at it at all. We're just pointing out how you don't actually universalize any of the positions that is that you have. The term Uncle Tom. Now, yeah, we know the etymology, they get it wrong, considering Uncle Tom's Cabin, and he's basically a hero in that story. But they use it to define basically a lesser than black person, or someone that's, let's say, against their own race. That's just generally what it is that you're using. And you reserve that term, of course, only for black people. And racism, by textbook definition, before these people trying to add little monikers and talking about institutional powers and other stuff. No, it is simply thinking that race is the primary determinant of someone's a set of traits or attributes. Often it is done in the name of some sort of negativity, or rather to show inferiority or superiority. You did exactly that by suggesting, again, term that's specifically reserved for black people, and suggesting that basically I'm a lesser than black person. Oh, why? Because I had a position it is that he didn't like. This is what gets me about these types. And again, there's no reason to get bent out of shape, because again, I don't take this internet stuff as serious as they like to, because I know that these people don't have any power, don't have really any influence, which is why the only thing they're going to get from me is to be mocked and shamed. But these weirdos are, let's say this, akin to just a little ankle biter, right? Just, we used that term before, just nipping at the ankles because they need dragons to slay, and we get in the way of that. Remember, this only stems from me, let's say, having positions that they don't like comic book stuff, okay? And they have somehow made that equal, let's say, a position on like race or self-hatred or having an issue with myself. Like, it's such a bizarre position because it's not like I actually try to hide it is that I'm black. I don't play the colorblind stuff. I am a black man. I'm also married to a black woman, and we're both dark-skinned black people. On top of that, we can't be confused certainly for anything else. It's not anything that I shy away from. It is what it is. I was born this way. It's not anything that I could certainly help, and there's no reason to be ashamed of that, and I never will be. And I certainly couldn't be shamed out of that position or be shamed into a position, even for that matter, out or into a position by some pencil neck dude. It's impossible. It can't happen. But think about this and where this guy is coming from. Where he is about as white. He wears this new, corny little looking newsboy hat. Nothing against newsboy hats or anything like this. But when I think of like this corny pencil neck dude behind an Annan count, he's not necessarily behind that, but this is what I envision. He fits the bill. Little dude speaking talking way above his weight class, not even really in a position to have the positions it is that he has. But he thinks that he is in a position to determine what my community says, because I apparently do things that are against my community's interests. He thinks he can dictate that as a white man. Now, in any other given setting, we consider that, and we, let's say, consider that derogatory. And I'm talking about what they would generally do. But it's okay. And this is why the whole acting as if they are against racism, against bigotry, it's all nonsense. The minute that they see someone that, let's say, exists in that class or exists in that racial makeup or sex or gender, whatever you want to call it, anybody that fits that bill and disagrees with them vehemently on any given issue that they hold tight, you see how ugly it is that they become. Okay? You see how ugly it is that they become. It's like they have a vision of who they think that people along those lines are supposed to act. Of course, they're the saviors and the heroes, right? Like that one little weirdo with the little stupid cap mask. He's talking about, he's speaking in a position of privilege and is using his play. You ain't got no position of privilege, dog. You some out of shape, little corny looking white dude. You're superior to anybody. You can't do anything to anybody. You're not superior. You don't have any privilege. You're just a fucking loser at the end of the day. But on a serious note, these people, I guess, inflate their own sort of sense of importance. And more importantly, I guess they all out attack folks that are not, let's say fit that racial demographic or other demographic. They fit that bill, but they don't fit how they envision that they're supposed to act, because they have them in a box. Black people are supposed to act like this, and because I don't know, have a position on Miles Morales that you don't like, all of a sudden I'm doing things that are against my community's interests. This is why these cats deserve mock and shame, but more hilariously, it's just so funny watching these guys initiate conflict. I don't initiate conflict with these weirdos, okay? I don't do that. They initiate that with me. They start down talking me, and then when we start swinging back, it's, oh my God, how possibly could he do it? And then they try to justify their bad behavior from then on. You started this. So if I finish it, it is what it is, but don't forget, you started this. But this whole Uncle Tom stuff, like, you ain't, I'll start taking that, I guess, serious when these little scrawny little white dudes start actually coming to cons that I'm at or to a backward show and actually, I don't know, have the gonads to actually call me that and look me in the eyes and do it.